name is Taygan Mullins. I'm a senior at Belfry High School. We're here today at the Pike County Board of Education under Justin Maynard. Mr. Maynard has been a member of the school board since January of this year. I want to talk to him about the school system and some of the issues facing this district. Welcome, Mr. Maynard. Would you like to first tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Justin Maynard. I'm the District 2 board member here. I went to school at Johns Creek, graduated from Pike Central, went on into the military, had a pretty good military career, and I came back and decided to get involved in the school system. I have two young kids that are in the school system. I've got a daughter that's 7 and a son that's 5, and I just didn't like the direction things were going, and decided I wanted to make a change. And I'm glad to be here now, and I think we're moving forward and doing good things.
Thank you. All right, as to our first question, what do you personally feel are the biggest challenges to Pike County schools, and how do you address them?
Well, right now, I think some of our biggest challenges is where we were at educationally when we entered into this year. We had some test scores that just didn't feel right. I mean, we were 146 out of 174 in the state on the ACT score, and then we're in the bottom 18th percentile in the state on their K-Prep test. So, in just that short time, we've made great strides to improve those test scores, and they have improved drastically. I still think that continues to be a challenge for us to figure out how to really prepare for this, prepare for the test and figure out what we need to be teaching as far as the standards go. That's one of the biggest challenges I think we face. And then the second one is really our enrollment. When McCoy Elkhorn shut down the mine, that hurts. We're based on a coal mining economy, and anytime that happens, it causes people to lose their jobs like that. It's just natural we're going to lose enrollment because people's going to have to go find jobs. So that's going to be a continuing bout, a challenge that we're going to have to face until the economy recovers.
Okay. How will state and federal funding cuts affect the education of our students? Does the board have any plans in place to curtail the shortfall?
Well, the funding cuts is going to be the problem. When they passed the sequestration, it hit education pretty hard. And while I would hope that at some point they will repeal those sequestration cuts to education, right now that's the law of the land, and we have to adjust ourselves to do that. And we have. It's going to be a challenge to get creative with funding. I think all of our programs, particularly the Head Start program, is very important to me. I think it's a good program. It's an excellent program, and they're taking a big hit in the sequestration cut. So it's going to be a challenge to be able to keep our Head Start programs all operational as they are right now and continue to fund them. So we do have some plans in place. We are working on plans to get plans in place to do our best to keep all those open. And I think we've got some great financial staff here that can do those things, that can get creative with funding. And I think you'll see that we're going to be able to minimize the damage of these sequestration cuts.
On a related note, in relation to the first question, how has the drop in enrollment affected the school system as a whole?
Sure, the drop in, our funding is based on our enrollment here. We lost, I believe, it was 157 kids from last year to this year, so obviously we took a hit in funding. Whenever you lose enrollment like that, it's natural to be concerned that you're going to have to identify those schools that are being hit the hardest and do some things. And the only way we're going to get those kids back is really rely upon the economy here to come back. We'll do everything we can to keep our schools, number one, and keep our schools going and keep our enrollment up. Second thing I think we can do to stop the loss of students there is continuing to offer good educational programs here in Pike County. That's where it all starts. That's what we're here to do. And I think we lost a lot of students because they they felt they had a better school system that they could go to other than us, and that's pretty sad. I think we have an excellent school system. I think we have excellent teachers. And the only way to do that is to get those educational programs up and going and be consistent and be good on a consistent basis. And once we're able to do those things, I think you'll see our enrollment numbers come up.
Bullying, especially by social media, has been in the news. What's the school system doing to address this problem, and how far-reaching do you feel it is in Pike County schools?
Bullying continues to be a major issue. It's not just in Pike County schools, it's really everywhere you go. And the only way to really combat that problem is to put programs in place that really helps try and stop bullying. Right now, the school district, we had some great plans in place to curtail those things. Unfortunately, times have changed. You know, bullying when I was in school is not the bullying that you see today. You know, now you have social media, you got text messages, you got Facebook, you got Twitter, they can post pictures, they can text pictures, you know. So it's technology is great, but in this aspect, this is how technology works against you. And what we have done is we put together a 1-800 hotline number. It's a bullying and suicide hotline. And what that does is that gives a student the ability to report bullying anonymously. One thing I have found is that students don't really want to be the one to walk in there to that principal's office and tell him about a situation because they fear that they'll be the one that's going to be bullied from that point forward. You know, they'll be the tattletale, they'll be the one that went in there and did those things. Well, this gives them an outlet to be able to report those things anonymously. Nobody can tie it into them, and give our administrators and our school officials the ability to address those problems. That's a start of where we're at. There's a lot more things that we can do, and there's a lot more things we're going to do. But this is just the starting point of where we're at. And I think going forward, we're going to have to address this problem, put it at a high priority list because it is a problem.
At this time, do you know of any innovative programs being undertaken by the district to help improve student learning?
Sure. We just approved the MAP testing. The MAP testing is a great tool. It gives us the ability to look at a student, set them down, and start them off on a level. And as they progress through those levels, the question gets harder. So it tells us really where their learning ability is, where they're at in the learning process, and where we need to pick up and take over and teach those kids. There'll be some kids struggle that has to be picked up at a different level, and then there'll be kids succeed that we need to put them in maybe an advanced class. So it gives the ability not to hold back a student, and it gives us the ability for students who are struggling to get them to where they need to be. And I think that's a great program. I love the MAP testing program. I think it's great. And that's just one thing that we're doing. Our teachers are always coming up with fun learning things that they can do to improve student learning. So I think we're seeing a great jump. And I mean, you saw in our test scores, we go from the 18th percentile to the 50th percentile. And we didn't even have MAP testing, and then we just relied upon our teachers. So our teachers are doing what they need to do. The MAP testing is just going to be able to give them a little bit of insight to where a child is or a student is, and be able to move them forward.
It's a huge improvement. Hopefully it'll go up even more soon.
Oh, I sure hope so.
All right, this is another question related to budget cuts and funding.
Sure.
It's about elective classes such as art and music. How can the district address these needs on such limited funding at this time?
Well, you know, art and what was the question? Art and music.
Yes.
You know, art and music are very important pieces to education. I mean, really, music's been around since, I'm pretty sure, the beginning of time. I mean, they were doing something musical at those times. It's important for our students to learn about Beethoven and Mozart and those guys and what they did and how they did it. And the only way to do that is to teach them music class. And art's just as important. You got Picasso, you know, got those guys that did those paintings that are beautiful pieces of art. And it's unfortunate that with cuts, you know, those programs are being cut. But I think the way that we can fix some of those things is you're going to have to get innovative again. we need to put teachers and give them the capability. Maybe we have to share an art teacher. You know, maybe that teacher is shared between Shelby Valley and Pike Central, or Pike Central and Belfry, or you know, Phelps and Pike Central. Some way to where we have music teachers here and art teachers here, and our students can get that education level. Those elective classes are extremely important. We had when I was in school, and it's a shame that where we're at with funding today and what the economy is, that those programs are the first to be cut. But I think you can still have those programs. You just want to get creative on how you keep those programs.
What do you see for the future?
Oh, I think for the future we're growing. I think we're moving forward in our testing process. I expect the school district to be in the top 80 percentile. At least by the time that my time here on the board, you know, be up. I would expect that us to be in the top 80 percentile in the state. I think we're moving in that direction. We had a big jump already. I think that's a great thing, and I think as long as we can continue to move forward with that, we'll be doing all right. I think the economy here, until it recovers, will continue to be a challenge, and we're going to continuously have to get creative with how we address those issues with the economy here. You know, it's unfortunate that the economy is just the way it is nationwide, but here, with the coal industry, we really depend upon it, and we'll just have to wait and see until it comes back on how long this is going to last.
What are your personal goals for the district?
Oh, I think being in the top 80% in testing, I think that's my number one goal. I mean, we're here to educate students. Students come to our school district to have a great education. So, I mean, that's my personal goal. I'd like to see every school in our district be proficient or distinguished. We had some schools miss it this year by just a 0.4%. So they're there. I mean, they're right there. They're where they need to be. It's just pushing them over that goal and getting better at what we're doing. But we have great staff to do that. I think they're doing an excellent job, and that's my personal goal for the district. If I had to pick one, that would be the one.
The rate things are going to seems like it's a very possible goal.
Oh, absolutely.
In the future.
Oh, absolutely. I think we could get there possibly. Maybe not next year, but the year after that, and if not the year after that, I think we will be there 3 years from now.
Yeah. And our last question: what expectations do you have for the district, and how can you help?
Well, you know, again, it goes back to the education standpoint. I think that if we can reach that 80 percentile, the top of that 80 percentile in the state, I think we'll be where we need to be in the community. You know, it takes a community effort. It's not. Their teachers take on a big responsibility, and their principals in their schools. But it's really up to those parents, and it's parent involvement. It's community involvement. You know, it's an aunt, it's an uncle, it's a grandparent. You know, all those guys come together, and they can affect the child's education, the student's education here in Pike County. So we need the community to be able to be more involved in education, know what's going on in your school, know the programs that these schools are offering. You know, what's offered at Belfry may not be offered at Johns Creek. Well, if a Johns Creek parent wants to bring that program to Belfry, how are we going to do that? Let's get together and let's talk about those things. How is this going to help education? And I think it's really just community involvement in the whole education process would be a huge help to us. It tells us how the parents are feeling. And it tells them where we're at and what we can do. And maybe we can work something out on how we can implement those programs together with maybe volunteers or how we may be able to put together funding, kind of like an improvement committee.
Yeah.
You know, how we can improve their schools. I think that's really where the community could really get involved and help the school system move forward in the direction we want to go.
And this time, that concludes our interview. That was the last question. I'd like to thank you, Mr. Maynard.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.